I'm trying to look for jobs here and there. I mean, I'm hoping to get into the forces, so then I can, at least have a place to call my own when I'm in there.
If you've got all day, we could list absolutely all the negatives about the current government.
You don't want to stay here. What opportunities are there for young people in the area?
To do something successful, you don't really want to do it in Weymouth.
A lot of people in seaside areas are older. People retire to be in the seaside, don't they? And that's sad, because then all the things that are working in areas like that are for older people. So young people move away, can't afford a house, and all those kind of things. So I don't know how you fix it. Big thinking, I think. Has to be, not little thinking. Got to be big thinking.
I haven't been here very long, but you only have to look around, and the majority by far are people. I thought I was old, but I mean, you're looking at a lot older generation-wise, and all the problems that associate with older age, impairments, etc. Incredible amount of shops just closed up, but then. I think that's an epidemic across the UK, isn't it? It's not just one.
So if someone described Weymouth to me as having London prices but not London wages, do you think that's an accurate representation of?
I think that's always been accurate, to be perfectly honest. And when some of the bigger companies moved out, probably the wages went with it. So, but they've always been suppressed. Yeah.
What do you think would improve Weymouth?
To be honest, I don't think it'll ever change. I still think it'll be a retirement venue for the well-off, to be perfectly honest. And I don't think it's the type of place where you can get industry in, to be honest. And I think it's always been the same.
Why is that?
Well, since the naval base was closed, I think it's struggled to get back on its feet. At least it had a big employer then. And when that shut, a lot of the income for the area went with it.
Do you want to stay in Weymouth?
No.
Are you going to stay in Weymouth?
Preferably not. I do want to move out as soon as I can. But I definitely have to say it's an alright tourist place.
But as like a young person living in Weymouth, you don't want to stay here. What opportunities are there for young people in the area?
Honestly, not a lot. Generally, I feel like this area is kind of boring for young people because there isn't a lot of job opportunities to do, especially if you want to do something like I'm doing, IT. I can't really do anything here because there's no IT jobs. I'd have to go off to London. So there's only mainly bar work to do and a few shops that you have along this high street. So that's all you can really do. There's nothing to get you started on a career here.
So I think is someone made an assessment that all kind of young people have to leave if they want to do something. Is that the case for
Pretty
you?
Much, yeah. To do something successful, you don't really want to do it in Weymouth.
What are these issues that Weymouth faces?
Well, we have a real problem with the buses at the moment. I don't know whose fault that is. A shortage of drivers, I think, is the main issue. That's as much as you can find out from anyone, and that's to do with contracts and things. I don't understand it all. It's just that if you live in Weymouth and you've got to go to the hospital, to Dorchester, you have to wait for a bus. My husband was recently in intensive care and I waited over an hour sometimes for a bus. And then when you get to the hospital, you haven't got enough visiting time. Or if you've got an appointment to have treatment, like my husband has to, it's very difficult.
It's not just places in the north. I feel like it's smaller towns and villages. I feel like not enough money is coming to these places and they're just being abandoned by the government, and I feel like they're being the local councils are mainly run by old people. I mean, most people that you see now are older people. There's very few younger people here in terms of wanting to come down and start new lives, to start their lives and to start businesses. There's just no incentives really, and I feel like in that way it's a shame because Weymouth has a lot of potential for investment in terms of tourism, in terms of I'm really big on history. This place was one of the main staging areas for the D-Day landings in World War II. This was where the Black Plague first came to Britain. It just has so much potential to be a history town as well, but I just feel like the council aren't doing enough and they're not thinking enough.
How are you feeling about the cost of living at the moment?
Panicky. I think, and particularly we're in a cold snap at the moment, and I was told this morning we got a fortnight, and it really is a worry. Yeah, the government have stepped in, and so it's lifting some of the costs, but it's not going far enough, and you only have to go into any of the food shops in particular. I'm a great Aldi fan, I'll go in there and come on, come on, this is not M&S, and everywhere it's just going up, and it's not, month by month. It seems to be almost daily. Next time I shop, suddenly it's a 5 or 10 more expensive. So I am concerned, really concerned, and it is a relatively expensive place to live down here compared to where I've come from. But yeah, let's watch this space, and I'm hoping not to join the other guys on the streets, but there are a lot of people here, that are on the streets, and clearly have struggled, with it.
You've only got to mention a shortage, and everyone's queuing up and buying it and throwing it away half the time because they just panic, don't they? Panic buying. But apparently there's not a shortage, it's just a bit of vegetables, salad stuff abroad what's struggling to come through, but I think we're doing all right as it is, really.
Mm-hmm. What do you make of the government at the moment?
Well, I think no matter who you get, they're all roughly the same, aren't they? It's just another name, isn't it? Labour, Conservative, or whatever. They all do the same thing. They all say they're going to do a lot more, but they don't really. It just goes with the flow, don't you?
Warming, I think it's just going to get worse from here. In terms of living, it's very hard. I'm currently living with my parents at this moment in time because I just can't afford to move out. I'm trying to look for jobs here and there. I'm hoping to get into the forces, so then I can, at least have a place to call my own when I'm in there, at least have a bed, at least have food, and so on and so forth. And it gives me more opportunities to look outwards from this town. But even then, it's just, I don't know what's going to happen. I guess it's just, we're going to have to just wait and see what happens in the future, really.
And then, what do you make of the government at the moment? Do you think they can help people?
I really don't know. At the end of the day, I don't think Rishi Sunak and I don't think his government are that bad. I just think right now, I think it's just too early to say what they're going to do, and I'm always up for giving everybody a chance. I gave Johnson a chance in the last election. I gave Truss a chance in the last election. Obviously, as you know, they've just kind of been a bit of a, well, putting it bluntly, disappointment. But Sunak, I think he'll do all right. I think he's got his head screwed on a little bit. So.
Great. Do you trust the government to handle these crises?
I don't know who can tackle the crises. If you've got all day, we could list absolutely all the negatives about the current government. However,
I'd love to hear them.
Yeah. However, what I would say is, and I'm sure Labour will get in, because I think the whole country is just looking for change. Can they, in all honesty, make significant change that will impact on our lives? Or are we going to have raging inflation, with the tax bills going up, etc.? I don't know. So, heck, it's a problem. Not impressed, but, it's democracy, isn't it? And, come back to me.